Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Rick, and I'm sailing Frog's Leap. I am at Shelter Bay Marina here at the yard. And today, well, they're going to put me back in the water. And I'm going to grab a slip for a few days because I have to investigate some medication. Yeah, I'll go into that a little bit more, but probably I'll be there for 3, 4, maybe 5 days. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah. Let me show you the view from Frog's Leap in the yard. Yeah, it's a trip, because usually it's just weird, when you're not on the water. You can see right through the air to the bottom. It's really trippy. Yeah. And there's where they're going to launch me, right there. So yeah, check this out. Looking down, it's a trip. Oh boy. It's probably a 25-foot fall if I fell from here. Well, we're back in the water. Frog's Leap and I, yeah, here at Shelter Bay Marina after being on the hard for, I think a week. I think it was right a week. I think we came out on Monday and then we went back in on a Monday. So, and what did we do in those 7 days? Well, you come out, you get the pressure wash, you get the sand, right? And then they put on the primer coat. And then they do an anti-foul coat. And that's your typical bottom job. Now, in addition to that, I also redid the boot top, which is that stripe right above the anti-foul. Sometimes there's a white stripe, a hull, like some hull paint, and then they elevate the boot top. I don't really like that because that makes that white really hard to keep clean. So my boot top goes all the way to the anti-foul. I kind of like that. When I got the boat, it was kind of faded, and I didn't get to it the first time actually both times I took the boat out, I didn't get to it, but I got to it this time, and it looks really nice. Can't drink enough water. Okay, so you got to ask the question, why did I take a slip again? Because, my plan initially was to do the haul out, get that work done, and boom, right from the haul out slings, bam, leave Shelter Bay Marina and then bounce my way up to Linton Bay and into San Blas. And that's where the story kind of changes a little bit. WhatsApp is a really big deal among cruisers here, and it's been a big deal really regarding all international communications that even cruisers will use it to communicate. So, the number one communication tool in terms of chatting amongst your cruiser friends and whatnot is WhatsApp. But it's not just person-to-person WhatsApp. They have these groups. So, like, if I were to show you my phone here, and I were to go into WhatsApp, I don't know how this will turn out, but you can see the second one down. Which one? Yeah. So you got Linton Bay and Shelter Bay. Now, if I press, or cruisers at Shelter Bay, if I press cruisers at Shelter Bay, look at this. They got Shelter Bay Marina chats, crew and buddy boat opportunities, buy, sell, trade free, security. So there's all these sub chats. So if you want to talk about security or you've got something to say about security, you throw it in there. There's like a chat hierarchy. Like, I swear to God, there are people who are regulars down here who moderate it, so to speak, and they do a great job. You know, I was a few days into my haul out, and inside one of the chats was a discussion about San Blas, because I'm in a San Blas WhatsApp chat too, and I think it was in the San Blas WhatsApp chat. They had said, okay, we've got a malaria outbreak in the San Blas, and they were talking about 8 infections at that time, and I believe I read that there were 2 deaths. Now I don't know anything about those deaths. If they were young people, if they were locals, if they were cruisers. I don't think they were cruisers. I would have heard that. Or if they were old, like maybe immunely challenged. Maybe, I don't know. So I just don't know the nature of it. But immediately I realized, hey, I don't have any kind of anti-malarial, and I'm thinking about going to San Blas in rainy season with no anti-malarial with a known outbreak. That's too much risk for me. Here I am, solo sailor, going down the Pacific. That's too much risk for me. This is about trying to do something exciting that I believe I can do. But going up against like some kind of disease, I'm just going to mention this real quick. Because if you haven't seen that show on YouTube, Chasing Bubbles, about the I think he was a commodities trader or a futures trader. He became a sailor, sailed this sailboat Bubbles all the way around the world, and then later I believe he went to India and succumbed to some kind of disease, So I'm not putting myself on par with the guy from Chasing Bubbles, because I'm not. But it occurs to me that sounds familiar, Yeah. So I'm going to take it seriously. And I went over to the pharmacies here, and they won't give you like Malarone or there's something called Doxy, and there's another one that's common in the U.S. But those, they don't give you them preventatively. I saw this worded in a different way. Prophylactically. Yeah. Prophylactic anti-malaria medication. Yeah. And I think I preferred that one just because I like saying prophylactic. All the imagery it conjures up. If everybody in the country in Panama was taking anti-malarial medication prophylactically, well, I'd go through a lot of medication. So I think it's a supply issue, and I think they handle it case-by-case basis. Okay, if that's the conclusion, which it is for me, I don't have all the information, but that's the conclusion that I'm going to operate under, because it's the safest for me. Because I can go back to the States and get whatever I need, because I can't be sick alone on my boat. That's crazy. And I should have come down with some medication. It was rainy season. So this is on me, right? Whatever costs are incurred for going back to the States and all that, that's on me. That was something you live and learn. Again, not everybody tries to do rainy season stuff. And they would say, well, there's a reason for that. Fair enough. There's a reason people skydive too. I don't criticize the risk taker. In fact, I value the risk taker. Let's talk a little bit about how does this impact my plans. My plan is to fly back to the States and spend probably about a month and a half at home with the family. In that time, I'll get the medication that I need, and I'll come back towards the tail end of rainy season in September. When I came down here, the plan was I'll make it in the beginning part of the rainy season, spend rainy season in Cartagena. Well, given the situation in San Blas, and given the fact that I don't want to skip San Blas, you could totally skip it, right? That's an option. I don't want to do that. So what I've preferred to do is say, okay, I'm going to fly back, spend some more time at home, then I'm going to come back in the middle of September and do San Blas towards the tail end of the rainy season and get across to Cartagena in the tail end. And then if the timing's perfect, which I think it will be, if I leave right away in middle of September, I should be in Cartagena middle of October, which is perfect. Then I have 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 weeks, where I can pick my weather window. Yeah, because, sometimes you get there and the weather window's right in front of you. And that's what happened when I was crossing Tehuantepec from Oaxaca. So, and that could happen. And I think the plan for Cartagena is good, and I think the timing is good. So I just got to keep an eye on that. If I leave here middle of September and I get to Cartagena middle of October, which gives me a month to explore San Blas and a couple of days to get over to Cartagena, I should be in perfect shape. So that's my plan. Definitely don't want to wait until the trade winds get organized. I have a 18 horsepower engine, so you're not going to be able to power through that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan. I think it's going to be fine. It doesn't really slow me down. It doesn't change the timing of crossing the Caribbean at all. I mean, that timing was going to be, November no matter what. I'm just now choosing to do San Blas and the crossing to Cartagena. I'm just choosing to do that towards the end of the rainy season instead of the beginning of the rainy season, so I can have a little bit of, prophylactic action going on the anti-malarial. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching this episode of Sailing Frog's Leap. We didn't do a lot of boat stuff, just a lot of kind of update. But there's been just a lot going on and a lot of change of plans and just a lot of craziness. Oh, there is one boat thing. This little light, this little LED light, burned out. Yeah, goes in one of these things right here, one of these island packet light fixtures. So when I come back from the States, oh, you bet I'm going to be bringing some of these. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.